Greetings and welcome to WebEOC 8 training. Today we're going to look at the new version of WebEOC. We're currently operating on WebEOC 7.8, but sometime in the upcoming weeks, hopefully around or before November, we'll put the date out beforehand, we are going to upgrade to version 8.2. Version 8 came out several months ago, but is radically different than the current version we're using. So we've been testing the system and working with the boards in it to make sure that everything is up to par, so when we do upgrade, it's this nice smooth transition. So WebEOC 8, I think you'll like the interface a lot better. It's a more modern, easier to use interface, but it is radically different from the system we've been using. So we're going to go through the differences in this video as a precursor to the upgrade. So we're going to start by logging in. You'll notice the look is different. It's more modern, has a better look to it. We're going to start by putting in our username and password and selecting login. Most of this is like the previous version that we did. Here we come, we select our position and our incident, same as we did before, and click continue. Which will then take us to the additional login page. This is the same as before. Change whatever needs to be changed and select continue. Now this is where you'll notice a difference in the system. At this point in the old version, we would get the pop-up control panel. Now as this logs in, you'll notice there's no longer a control panel. It has this whole new feel to it. We open up instead to the home page. The home page is something brand new. Here on the home page, we can put information. We could put system-wide messages out like this. Currently, this is on the State of Ohio's test server. We've been using their test server to test out our boards and to make sure things are up to par. But when you log in next time, you will be on the SoSync system. And anytime there's a big activation or something going on we need all users to know about, we can post a system-wide message here. When you look up top, you'll notice it says welcome, has your username. The logout button is now here, so if you need to log out of the system, it will then tell you you're logged in as Ops Admin and Daily Operations. If you need to change, you can select your other positions. You don't have to go back to the control panel for this. Next, we have full screen mode, but this is a little different than you're thinking. It's not just take it to full screen. It actually brings up a player to play boards that open. We'll look at that towards the end. If you have admin rights, you will see the gear for admin capabilities. If you do not have admin rights, you will not see this gear. So if you have the ability to create incidents, add and edit users, you will see this gear. If you have those rights, when you click on it, you will get another page that will pop open, and you can then access the admin features. We will put out a separate video that will simply address nothing but the admin features. Next over, we have the help button. So you can open this up. You can open up the basic WebEOC help, and this will help you walk through the new upgrade, the devices, boards, things like that. Click X to close it. Now where the big change comes in is this light blue list box here. The control panel is gone, but this is now your control panel. It's now simply a drop-down box on the web page. We can open this up and we'll see it's much like it was before. We have boards, menus. We can scroll down and access tools and then plugins at the bottom. A couple differences here is now before when you opened up the control panel, if you went to the header where it said boards and menus and you clicked on those, you could collapse them. That can no longer be done. If you click on the actual header, it will close the entire control panel. So you need to scroll down now. A couple other differences here. You'll notice these stars on the left-hand side. The stars are the system's new way of indicating that there is new information here. If you remember in the past system, a board would come up black. If there was new information, the name of that board would be red. Well, now what they've gone to is this star. So if there's new information here, the star will be there. I can open this up. You'll notice now it opens up in a tab, and I can see this record. I can go back to the control panel, and the star is gone. Tell me that I've been to the position log. There's no longer new information there. I can come up and I can close this tab and get rid of that one. Going back to the control panel, we'll see here we have used to have a plus and an X behind the name of the board to open a input screen or to close the board, which we did not use in our system. Now you have this pop-out arrow. So what that's doing, if I click on the arrow versus the name, if I click on the arrow, it will open it up in a new window. So for some reason I want that in a new window, I can click that call-out arrow. If I want it to open up in a tab, I click on the board name and it will open up in a tab. A couple other differences here when I go down the menus. So now menus, when I see them, I have a turn down arrow. So if I open up the menu, I can now see the items that are on that menu. It will also have the star to turn blue to let you know that there is new information or a new record there. Same as before, I can click these and open them. They will open up in my tabs. Before, if I opened up a menu and I closed the actual menu item, the boards that were on their menu would close. Now you no longer have to keep that menu open. I can collapse it and still continue to operate. Moving down, we have tools and we have plugins. Not much difference in these. The one thing I do want to point out to you in the plugins, before we had the file folder, files would show up in the file folder. You opened it up and you could see the various options and open up the ones you had access to. Now, if you have access to a file folder, they will actually show up here as a plugin item. So this is a folder. I can open that up and I can see the files inside of that folder. And I can close it if I need it. So those operate a little differently. So most of the control panel is the same. The biggest thing to get used to, it is no longer there. And that to open boards, I now select them or go to a new window, and the star is letting me know there's new information. The other thing you may notice down here, some of these have lightning bolts behind them. Our system is now fused up with the state of Ohio system, and by fusing it, it's basically there's a server in between our two systems that allow them to talk, and we can share boards and resources. So anytime something is coming from another system that we're fused to, you will see this lightning bolt behind them. You will either see a gray lightning bolt or a red lightning bolt, but that's telling you that it's from another system. The gray lightning bolt tells you that you're connected to another system and the board is working. The red lightning bolt tells us that it is offline. So you can see here on this pop-up it says Fusion Server Ohio Regional Incident status offline, meaning we are not connected. This is our test server. It's not connected up to our live data in the Fusion world. But once we both go live with the new version, this will be gray to let us know that we are connected. So I'm going to open up a couple extra boards here and show you that we can open up as many boards as we need and function along here. As I continue opening up boards, at a point they're going to fall off the screen and my screen is going to be too full to actually look at all of these, which it just went to that point right there. So I now have these left and right arrows up here so I can move back and forth amongst the open boards. I could also come here to this little blue arrow drop down, open that up, and I can see all the boards that I have open and see I want to go to the position log. It'll take me to the position log. So if you have a lot open, you can move around fairly easily. You also have the option here to close all tabs. So I can select that and it'll close all my tabs except for the home page. I'm going to open a couple back up here again. I'm going to open up the position log and I'm going to open up, I don't know, this one here and one other one. It does not matter. So whichever board I have selected, that is one that will be highlighted in dark blue, letting me know that that is my current board that I'm on. If new information hits these, I'm going to come in, I'm going to reopen up, I'm going to open up the sign in, sign out. I'm now going to come in here, I'm actually going to open the sign in, sign out as a separate window. And I am going to sign into the system. But I want you to notice now this tab is turned blue. So this is the system's way when a tab is open of telling you that there's new information. Here, I can close this one. So we get told either by the arrow, or the star rather, in front of the board, or by, if we have the tab open, of it turning light blue like this. And you can see the star telling you that there's new information here. Once I access this, read the information, it will no longer be light blue and the star will not be there any longer. Most of the boards that we have in here will operate exactly as they were before. Some will have a new look to them. We can open up a new record. We can enter a new record into them and go from there. You'll also notice we have this option when I open this input of opening the input screen as a new window. So this input screen is opened as a new window and I can still see the information behind it. I can exit this. Cancel that and go right back. I can have them overwrite, but eventually all of our boards will be written to pop open in new windows. Down at the bottom, as we did before, we have our navigation for to go to the first page, last page. The last page is new, and we still have the disable refresh option down here. Something else I want to show you here, if I switch positions, so if I have these tabs open, the system will remember per user, per position, what tabs I had open. So if I switch to a different position that I had used earlier, when it opens up as this position, the boards that I was working with then will pop open. So here I had just position, log, and state significance events open. So it will remember that. If I log out and log back in, I will go through the login process again. I'm going to go back to my position I was using when we started the training. And when it logs me back in, whatever boards I had opened up before I logged out will open back up. So if you have a certain view you like, if you leave it open and save it, that's the way the system will come back to you every time for that position. So that way you're not reopening and trying to remember boards that were there before. The last thing I'm going to show you in this video is this full screen mode. So the full screen mode is not truly full screen as you might think of removing the top headers. What it does is it puts you into a full screen player. So when we go into this, it will know which boards I have opened up, and it will put them in a rotation that I can then start viewing all of those. So down here I have my options. Go back, go forward, I can play, or I can change the speed, or I can exit this full screen mode. So I'm going to tell it to play. I'm now going to reduce my speed down to the minimum. And you'll watch this, it'll go through, it'll start moving through each of the screens that I had open in my tabs. So I can then see these and view these. So if you're using this in your EOC or in your command room and you want to have multiple boards open, you can open up 4 or 5 boards and then have the cycling through on one display to allow a much easier view of what's going on in the system. You can adjust the time down here to suit your needs. You can play it or pause it, and I hit the arrows to collapse it and exit that full screen mode, and I'm back in my tab mode. And back to home. I can come back here. I'm going to go ahead and close all my tabs, or if this is what you want yours to open up in the next view, you can leave it as it is. I'm going to close the tabs. Okay, a couple last things we're going to look at before we end this video. We're going to look at notifications and then talk a little bit about refreshing the system. In the past, when you got a message sent directly to you or a task assigned to you, it appeared at the bottom. The control panel would have been down here. Well, in WebEOC 8, that's a little different. So if you get a new message or a new task sent directly to you, the notifications have now moved to this lower right-hand corner. So you'll get this pop-up no matter what screen you're on that will show you that you have a new message or a new task or something that's directly to you. Also, if you're on the home page, you'll get this notification that you have a new message, and it will also appear on the board with the star letting you know that's something new. So you can go through, you can then look at that message, and you can view it. The pop-up will stay there for a little while. I don't know the exact time, but letting you know that that message is there. So those are things that are directly to you, and you'll notice on this new on the home page's notification, it tells you the time that it came through, that you were notified at 10:05 that you had a new message. So nice way of notifying you appears other than the control panel. That way the control panel, if it's out of your way, it will appear as a pop-up or on this home page so you don't miss things. Last thing we want to talk about is refreshing. So when you go to refresh, we told you on the old system, if you wanted to refresh, you could refresh a page if it hung up on something. Well, we can still do that, but we have to do it a little differently. What you cannot do is on the right-click menu, you cannot select reload or refresh from the right-click menu. If you do this, it will log you out of the system. So you don't want to do that. It refreshes the whole thing and will log you out. But what you can do instead, you can hit the F5 key, which on every browser made is a keyboard shortcut for refreshing. So I can hit F5, it will refresh, and will bring me back to where I was. So I can continue to do that. I can also hit Control R, or if I'm on a Mac, Command R, and that will refresh the web page. So if it hangs up on you for some reason, you can refresh it. Or if we tell you something, you have a new board or something we pushed out, you can hit F5 or Command R or Control R to refresh. Do not right click and select refresh. So the last thing I would do now, if I was done, if I want to close this out, if I'm in the system, you still remember when you're done, go up, sign out. That's always our first thing we do, sign in, sign out at the beginning and end of our operational period. So that's our quick update video on WebEOC 8.2. I think you'll like the changes. It's a much cleaner, much more modern interface, but it is very different. So we want you to be comfortable in using this new version. So you will see the new system coming out. So watch this video, get used to it, log in, play around with the system, and see what's out there. If you have any questions, make sure you send them to us or email us or call us, and we'll help you out and get you taken care of. Thanks, and have a great day now.